I came to be executive director of Peace Incorporated from the local Human Rights Commission. I was the executive director of the Onondaga Human Rights Commission for about 11 years, 11 or 12 years. And this position became open, and I applied and was hired to be executive director of Peace. So I came from an organization where I had a staff of 10 to 12 people to a staff of about 300. So that was quite a jump in terms of supervision and administration. So it was a time of change for me as an administrator. So I had to rely more on other people to work out all the programs. While at Human Rights Commission, I only had a few programs, and so I could oversee all of them. This was a change, but it worked out well. I was able to hire some very good people, and we did very well. They did very well. As I had mentioned before, that two of them are executive directors now of community action agencies and are very active in the New York State Association of Community Action Agencies. So that was good. During my tenure, the Early Head Start program started. The weatherization program grew. The community centers were called community centers, and we changed the name to the family development centers. I don't know if they still have that name, but we got involved in family development and changed the mission. And actually, I forgot what the early mission is, but now the mission was to empower people and work to empower people. So that were the main things that I was doing. And as I mentioned before, that I did a lot statewide, and I really like developing people and mentoring people. So I'm still doing that, mainly with teenage boys now, but at Peace I was doing it with adults. Lisa Alford, who is director of the Commission of Aging for the county, she was my Head Start director. I hired her, and when she came to town with her husband, and was looking for a job, so I hired her to run our Head Start program. So that was she did a very good job with that. So, well, I guess it was about 2 or 3 years after I retired, I went to a meeting and was invited to a meeting with some young African American men, and they wanted to start an organization called the 100 Black Men, a chapter in Syracuse. That's a national organization, but there were no local chapters, so they wanted to start one. So I agreed to help them, and they wanted me to become the president. So although I was doing some consulting to them, I dropped my consulting organization and started working with them, being the first president. I was president for 2 years, and then I got on their board of directors, and I'm still on their board of directors and work with the organization. And it's grown. We have a lot of projects now. Our signature project is the Saturday Academy of Science building. We have a Saturday Academy of Schools for 4th to 12th grades. we do a lot of mentoring at different schools. And I work with my church in a variety of ways. One is in the Justice Center, working with young men who are 16 and 17-year-olds who are incarcerated, trying to get them on the right path. And do a lot of golfing and play pickleball at the Y. So try to stay active as much as I can. The main thing I wish for is to keep going and to try to diversify the funding more. Joe has done a great job in diversifying their funding, because I see the federal government is going to give us less and less funding, and if they can diversify their funding by any way possible, that would be my hope for peace.